Hello, and welcome back to a new session. I'm so excited to bring to you this presentation, which is on the subject insects. This is really one of my most favorite subjects in nature. Insects is actually such a vast subject that no matter how much you know about it, seems little. But still, luckily, it hasn't intimidated me. I still find them so fascinating. And every time there's new learning. And the more I learn about them, the more interesting this subject becomes. Today, through this presentation, we're trying to learn a little bit about insects. Just scratch the surface of this subject. So, let's get started. What comes to mind when someone says insects? Do you think of that mosquito that gives those annoying bites and disturbs your good night sleep? Or do you think of those flies who don't leave you alone to enjoy a simple meal? Or do you think of those thousands of squishy bodied creatures that come to your porch light, especially during some times of the year? Is this all that insects are? Mostly annoying? Or is there more to it? To find out if we really know what insects are, I have a little quiz for you. I am going to play slide after slide 12 photographs. Each photograph is labeled with alphabets starting from A to L. Please take a pen and a paper, and as I take you from one photograph to the other, please write against the alphabet whether what you're looking at. If you think it is an insect, yes, or it's not. So let's get started. Look at this photograph. What do you think? Is this an insect? Write down your answer. How about this one? Is this an insect? Going next. This one. Is this an insect? Going further. Is this an insect? Next one. This one. What do you think about this one? Is this an insect? How about this one? Going next. This one. Is this an insect? And this one? Is this an insect? This one. Going next, the last one. Do you think this is an insect? Before I give away the answers, let's take some time to see what makes a creature an insect. What are the characteristics an insect must have? An insect has three body parts. The body is divided into three segments or sections. The first one is the head. The middle section of the body is called the thorax. And the last part, the third section of the body, is called the abdomen. The head is where the eyes are. Most insects have compound eyes. Compound eyes means each eye can have thousands of little lenses. The eye of an insect is so different from ours. How they look at the world is so different from the way we look at the world. The head also has antennae, And if an insect has mouth parts, this is where the mouth parts would be. The second section, the middle section, is the thorax. The thorax is where the 3 pairs of legs are attached. The legs of an insect are jointed. Like us, we have different joints in our limbs. The thorax is also where the 2 pairs of wings of an insect are attached. The third part of the body, the abdomen, this is where the insect has some very vital body organs, like breathing tubes. They don't have a nose, you see. Organs of digestion, reproduction, all these are packed in the abdomen. Besides all these physical characteristics, parts of the body, the insect has an exoskeleton. I'm sure all of you know what a skeleton is, right? The bony frame inside our body. For the insect, the hard part, the frame of the body, is actually the outermost layer. If you've ever squished an ant, you would have noticed that from the inside, that insect is all soft and gooey, liquidy, whereas the top layer is the hard one. Exo means outside. So the skeleton of insects is actually the outside layer. Whereas for us, the hard frame is inside and the outside is the soft one. Now, I just have a next one, a picture of the compound eye, just to show you a close-up. This is a picture of a bee. Look at that eye. Can you see the thousands of tiny lenses there? How amazing is that? Now, let's look at the classification. So insects, where do insects fall in the classification? They belong to kingdom Animalia. As you know, kingdom Animalia has lots of different things from mammals, birds, fish, snakes and lizards, insects, crabs, mollusks, etc. Within kingdom Animalia, creatures that have jointed legs and an exoskeleton have been put into the phylum Arthropoda. It includes animals like crabs, spiders, scorpions, and of course, insects. Out of phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta has those arthropods that have all the features that we discussed in the previous slide, or most of the features. So things like antennae, 3 pairs of legs, 2 pairs of wings, 3 body parts, etc., etc. Now that you know a little bit about insects, let's go back to the quiz and let's see whether you were able to identify the insects somewhat correctly or not. This one, what did you write? This is an insect. If you look carefully, you will see 2 thin thread-like antennae coming out right from the top of the head. And you can see 6 legs very clearly, wings. This is an insect. We were lucky to find this. Imagine if this katydid had been sitting against the bark of a mossy tree, it would have been so hard to spot it. Moving on, this one. Yes, also an insect. A great example of the features we learned. Look at the head, thorax, a thin long abdomen, clearly visible 3 segments of the body. From the thorax, you can see the 3 pairs of legs coming out, 2 pairs of wings attached, very tiny antennae. This one, a robber fly, is an insect. This one looks like an exoskeleton, can't see 3 parts of the body, no antennae, look like more number of legs. This is a scorpion, and a scorpion is not an insect. It is an arthropod though. Next one. This one is an insect, clearly with 3 pairs of legs, 3 body parts and antennae. Yes, it is an insect. This one, what did you think? Look at the beautiful feathery antennae. Wings, this is a moth and it is an insect. Next one. What about this one? 4 legs, no characteristics of an insect. This skink is not an insect. This one, clearly an insect again. 3 distinct body parts, 3 pairs of legs, wings, tiny antennae. This one is an insect. How about this one? Clearly an insect. 3 pairs of legs, long thin antennae. See, in some insects, you can't see all the features clearly, or they might not even be present. Like for example, in this one, you can't see the 3 body parts clearly because they're probably covered by wings, but you can still deduce that it is an insect. How about this one? Let's count the number of legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pairs of legs. 1, 2 body segments. This spider is not an insect. Spiders, often thought of as insects, are actually not a part of class Insecta. Look at this lovely butterfly. Clearly, 3 separate sections of the body, lovely antennae, 3 pairs of legs, beautiful large wings. Butterflies are insects. Tricky one. What do you think this one is? Worm-like. Can't see 3 distinct body parts at all. No antennae, no wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Far too many legs. But this one is a caterpillar. It is an insect. So what you're seeing in front of you is a tricky question. This is a larval form or the young, a baby form of a certain species of moth. What you see here, the 3 legs, these are the actual true legs. All these rest leg-looking structures are actually an organ that the caterpillar uses to feel, to smell and taste the surface on which it is walking. It is a sensory organ. So a caterpillar, a moth caterpillar here, it is an insect. The last one, let's count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No need to count any further. This is a millipede and it is not an insect. So I hope you enjoyed this quiz, but I also hope that it has given you a sense and understanding of how to identify an insect, what features to look for. Having seen this, now you also have a little sense of how diverse insects are. It's far more than an annoying mosquito or a fly. They come in so many different sizes, shapes, colors, habits, lifestyles, habitats. They are so interesting. Did you know that in the animal kingdom, of all the species that we know of, and I put them all in a pie chart, insects make 40% of that pie chart. That's how many species are already known and recorded. Scientists feel that there are far more species of insect than we actually have found out about. If we had to make a pie chart and put that estimated number of insects onto it, along with not just the animal kingdom, but animals, plant, and fungi, and we put down the estimated numbers of species we don't know but we think that are present on Earth, insects will still come out dominant. They will still maybe occupying 62% of the biodiversity of our planet. The amazing thing for a naturalist is that they're everywhere. Inside your house, outside your house, in a dirty city, or in a deep jungle, you can find them everywhere. Did you know, not speaking of the number of species, but sheer population, and if you had to compare the population of insects with the population of human beings are not even a thin line in this pie chart. This number, I don't even know if there's a word to say it. This is how many insects there are that scientists think, and the human population. And this is not a new thing. Insects have been a dominant group on our planet since 400 million years, and they still continue to be so. Also, they were the first creatures to take off from land and take flight. Isn't that amazing? Now, let's look at their life cycles. For most creatures, most groups of creatures, there's usually one standard type of a life cycle, right? Let's take human beings. Let's take us, for example, and with us, all the mammals, most mammals. The mother gives birth to a live young. The little infant, the newborn infant, looks like a mini human being. The mini human being, the baby, it grows up to a point, then it stops growing, it lives its prime, and then starts aging and dies. And that applies to most mammals. In the insects, however, there are two different types of life cycles, broadly speaking. Let's look at them one by one. The first one is called the complete metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means to change. In complete metamorphosis type of life cycle, an insect goes through 4 main stages: the egg, the larva, the pupa, and the adult. So, the mother would lay an egg. The egg hatches into what we call the larval stage, the larva. The larva often looks nothing like the adult. Remember the caterpillar, moth caterpillar that we saw in the quiz, right? The caterpillar then grows and reaches a point where it completely stops all activity. Moving, feeding, everything stops, and it packs itself into a sac, into a packet. We call it the pupa or the cocoon. It stays there for some time, maybe a few days, even maybe weeks. And then inside it, it's almost like a magic trick that takes place, but in very slow motion. That pupa breaks open, and through it emerges the adult, which looks completely different from what went inside the pupa, inside the cocoon. Now, let's see the next life cycle. It is called the incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis. In this, there are three main stages: egg, nymph, and adult. Notice that here there is no pupa stage. So here the eggs are laid, the eggs hatch, and tiny nymphs come out. Nymphs of these insects, the insects that go through the incomplete metamorphosis, look almost like the adult. You can almost recognize it. It may have some features different, like in this case, in the grasshoppers, it doesn't have wings, etc. And this will grow. And finally, at one stage, it will become a winged adult. Now, when a nymph is growing, or like in the previous example, when the larva is growing, something takes place that's called molting. Remember, I told you that insects have an exoskeleton. Their outside layer is the hard one. So as an insect grows, either a nymph grows or a larva grows, the exoskeleton becomes like tight clothes of a growing child. So at some point, the insect has to break itself free from the old clothes and emerge with new clothes, with a fresh exoskeleton that can fit a larger body. So this is what takes place during these different stages in the insect life cycle.